What's up, Cosmoetical?
What's up, TPZ? We're here today to discuss the brand new album, Introductory Tony. The listeners have questions, and today we're here to discuss them. Our first question is from Montgomery, Alabama. We're hitting close to home with this one. You're from Alabama, right?
Yeah.
The first question is, what is your favorite song on the album?
So, as far as my favorite song goes, I'd have to say as a banger, probably Everybody. But as far as...
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, a lot of people have. As far as deep, meaningful, though, I would have to say Path.
I can respect that. For the song Everybody, I noticed on the cover you have Tony, Anthony, and TPZ. Was that kind of to indicate them all together, or what was your inspiration behind that song?
So, whenever I made that song, it was back in February when I was going through mental breakdown. That's usually when I make my bangers. That's when Rollin' was made as well. So it's kind of a combination of the three. Anthony is my kind of sad side, and then Tony is my more happy side, and then TPZ is the more angry, dark side. And pretty much what you'll see through this album is Anthony fading away, because that part of my life, that past, is no longer around, and Tony turning more towards TPZ, which is what you'll see in both Everybody and Path.
So, what song would you say was the song where Anthony just really fades away, like the introductory to Tony?
He's slowly fading away throughout the whole album, but in Path, at the end, that's whenever he's out.
I like that. I like the way you did it. It definitely it reminds me of, you remember how Eminem used to do Stan, and how he slowly faded him away?
Yeah.
Would you say that Eminem is one of your biggest inspirations?
I mean, he's the first rapper that I heard, so Mockingbird was the first song that I heard from him, and I loved all the rhyme schemes and just everything about it, and that's why I fell in love with rap.
I can respect that. I get that completely. Now, a listener from Worcester in the United Kingdom would like to know, what was your feelings with this album?
So the album was supposed to be more happy, but I had a lot of stuff going on, so I was more depressed, so it kind of has a happy and depressed vibe, which kind of fits Tony perfectly, because with ADHD, I suffer with depression quite a lot, so I might be happy 1 second and then depressed for like an hour. So it's kind of a bit of an emotional roller coaster, honestly.
I really respect that about you. You know, other artists I've listened to, they don't tend to be open with their struggles, and I really respect that you are.
Yeah.
The next question is from Nashville, Tennessee. The listener would like to know, where do you plan on going from Introductory Tony? Are you going to do Introductory TPZ, or are you going to shift it back to Anthony?
I'll be going towards TPZ, and that will be closing out the introductory saga. It's basically going to be the introductory of where I will be going with my music career and who I will be from this point on.
Alright. Do you have any plans for after Introductory TPZ, or are you not sure yet?
At this moment, I don't have any plans, because that's quite a few steps ahead. I plan on, after this album, dropping some singles that'll kind of walk everyone to Introductory TPZ, and then once that album drops, I'll probably be doing a lot of kind of random stuff. Singles. Probably won't drop another album for a while.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've seen most of your work. You have been working hard on these albums, and you've been releasing them very quickly, I've noticed. And a thing I notice in rap is a lot of artists tend to release their albums too quickly, if that makes sense. And it's almost there, but it never is over that finish line. But you tend to go the step above, and you produce the same quality music with every album, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I've been working on this album since about December, so here we are almost to December again.
Hey, some people take years to produce an album, so the fact that you've gotten it done this quickly, that says a lot. It shows how devoted you are to the music, to the fans, to everything. Next question is out of Dallas, Texas, where I never want to be because it is way too hot. So, this listener wants to know, what originally got you into rap? What made you decide that this is something I want to pursue for the rest of my life?
Well, I've always loved rhyming. Whenever I was little and couldn't put together a sentence, really, I loved Dr. Seuss books because of all the rhyming in them. And then as I started getting older and to the point that I could put sentences together, I always had to rhyme stuff because that's what I felt had to be done. And I ended up having to have help learning not to rhyme whenever I was talking. I remember my mom telling me that every time I talk, it's like I'm speaking in riddles. But she used to get so mad at me over that. But I've always kind of wrote little poems and stuff like that, but not really rap. And then whenever I got introduced to Eminem at 10's, pretty much whenever I started really writing after that. And I've pretty much wrote ever since, and just recently started actually recording. Well, I say recently, it's been almost 3 years now, but really started recording and getting into it more.
I get that. The next question is from sunny San Francisco in California, and question is asking, one of the listeners wants to know, is it true that when you were younger you looked identical to Eminem?
There is a picture of me that a lot of people have said that it looks just like Eminem, and I also have a beanie that whenever I was wearing it, I did look like Eminem from 8 Mile. People used to tell me that that was actually my dad, and that my dad wasn't my real dad.
I've seen the picture, I can confirm. Now, our last question, because we don't have any time for any more questions, and trust me, there are loads of them, is, what do you want to leave your viewers with at the end of this album? Is there a certain message you want to leave them with, a certain meaning?
Basically the bigger stuff is on the way. This album is just almost like a bridge, and we're nearing the end of that bridge, and there's gonna be some stuff that's really good coming.
All right. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to interview you today. I'm sure the listeners will be very happy with the answers they heard today. And that's all we have time for.
All right, appreciate you.